At any time, but especially on Sunday mornings, we are here to celebrate being a community. It's delightful to see everybody on camera. Hi, Mark. It's a time when we revisit and renew our commitment and our caring for one another and continue our journey in faith. So we're happy that everybody made it this morning. The times change. It's always an interesting time to find out if you make it or not. It just happens that way. We know that people have lived in this land for thousands of years, and we are only the latest people who have been on this property. While this church now, quote unquote, owns this property, what that really means is that we are stewards of this area and this land and this building for a period of time. And so because of that, we always acknowledge that we were not the original stewards or inhabitants, but we are the people who are here now. And we reflect on the people that we know were here before, and we continue to think of ways that we can honor them, acknowledge them, and be a part of a relationship with them as we plan for the future and as we enjoy our land now. As I light the chalice this morning, and Shauna, I'll ask you to go up and light the chalice, please, if you would. We're going to read the words on the slide, please, as soon as Liam finds them. No worries. In this flame, we witness the power of transformation, awed again by the wonder of life. We are grateful to be vital to this living universe and inspiring community. Thanks, Shauna. Of course, now I can't remember the number.
Can we help you? What do you know what the
Guide my feet.
Okay.
Is the one I'm looking for. Which
348.
348. So turn to 348. How many of you have sung this one before?
It's not one that we.
Oh, great, I love that. I get to sing it badly and you all get to sing after this. This is wonderful. Well, one great thing about it is it comes out of the African American spiritual tradition. And since songs and music in that genre are designed to be call and response and repeated so that they're easy to learn, that's where we benefit from that tradition. So I'm going to give you a shot at how it goes. I'm going to sing a line, you're going to sing it back, and then we're going to sing, I'll sing, and then by the end of the song, we'll know what we're doing and we can go to the next verse, okay? Guide my feet. Guide my feet while I run this race, while I run this race. Guide my feet, it's up there a little bit. Guide my feet while I run this race, while I run this race. Guide my feet. Guide my feet while I run this race, while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain, to run this race in vain. Okay, now let's try it all together and no one will know whether we hit the notes or not. It's great. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race, for I won't want to run this race in vain. And search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race, for I don't want to run this race in vain. Race in vain. Good job. Good job. Teaching job. Some days when I know the song pretty well, not too good. I've got a story this morning for Time for All Ages. Do we have kidlets or?
I can go get them.
Okay, we'll wait for the kids.
Oh.
Hi.
Far away.
Hi, Evan. Come on in, have a chair. We're going to talk about beliefs today, things we believe in. Oh, there's everybody else. Sorry, don't go too fast. Good morning. Hi there. Good morning. Have a chair. Hi. So this morning we're going to talk about beliefs and how we hold on to things. Now, do you know what beliefs are? What are beliefs? Yeah.
Things you believe in?
Things you believe in, that's right. Things that you've thought about, or things that you've been taught, or things that you hold in your heart or your mind that you, for yourself, know to be true. You believe in them. You rely on them. You know those things are going to happen again and again, or you know that that's going to be true. And some people, there's all kinds of beliefs in the world. And there's all kinds of people in the world who carry all kinds of beliefs. Now, let's think about when we're going to the grocery store. What do you do when you go to the grocery store? Yeah.
You go and you get a cart, and sometimes you have a list, and you pick stuff off.
Right. Very good. Sometimes you have a list, and sometimes you just wander the aisles and look for good things, right? Yeah, that's fun too. And at the end, when you get checked out, what do they appreciate that you bring along? What's that?
A bag.
A bag. We're supposed to bring a bag along so we can put good stuff in it and take it home. Today, we're going to go a little old style. You have had a life full of bags like this. Those of us who have a few years on us, a little older, have gone through life with bags like this made out of paper, and I'm sure you've seen them too. Sometimes you. And I'm sure all of you have used them at one time or another to carry your lunch maybe, or to carry something special, or to take something to a friend's house. Maybe some goodies that your mom or your dad or your family or your grandma made for you, or a neighbor or a friend. So you have a bag. And I want you to think about how you hold your beliefs and how people might hold their beliefs in a bag in your head. Now, some people kind of hold their bags like this. You ever see anybody who folded their bag way down? And then they hold on to it very tightly. How easy is it to get things out of a bag when you fold it down like this?
A little harder.
It's a little harder because you're holding on to it really strongly. And some people hold their beliefs like that. They put them way down in the bottom of the bag, way in the back of their mind, or way in the important place in their mind, and then they kind of close the door. And that's one way to do it, but it makes it a little hard to get in there. And so it makes it a little hard for them to listen to other people and maybe change their mind, because it's hard to get into the bag and pull something out and change it with something else. And another way I've seen people hold their bags is kind of like this. You ever seen anybody hold a bag like that? Yeah. So how easy again is it to get things out of your bag?
A little easier.
It's a little easier because it's kind of open up there.
It's so that hard to just squeeze.
Yeah, because if somebody's squeezing the neck and they don't want to let go, wow, you're not going to get through there very easily. So this is a little hard too. And sometimes people hold their beliefs like this. But the thing sometimes they then do with those beliefs is they turn it around a little bit and then they take their beliefs and they go around and bop people with them. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. And that's really not very nice. I mean, how much do you want to be around somebody who's coming at you all the time going, no, you're wrong. I know what I'm talking about. But the sky really is blue. No, it's pink. That's kind of hard on people, isn't it? So in our faith, as Unitarian Universalists, we prefer to carry our bags a little more like this. What's different about that? Yeah.
It's way easier to eat.
Yeah, it's way easier to change things and move things around because the top is open, right? You can I can see in there. I can see what's in there. And when we have the thoughts and beliefs in our mind in a bag like this, we're more open to getting information from other people or a new source or a new expert or a new study or a new piece of information that we go, oh, I didn't know that. Let me put that in my bag. And that one that's in there that's I've outgrown, well, I can take that out and I can put it over here and maybe somebody else will find it because they're ready for that kind of thought. But I don't need that thought anymore because now I have a new one. Yes, ma'am.
Are you allowed to have more than one belief?
Yes, you are allowed to have many beliefs in your bag. This is a very small bag for beliefs. It was the only one I could find in the house today that actually was smushed, so that's why you got it. But yeah, this is a small bag compared to the space that you have in your head for all of your beliefs. Yeah, you can have a lot up there. And it can be beliefs about anything. It can be beliefs about what kind of food you should eat, or what kind of neighborhood you should live in, or what kind of car you might need to buy. Or it could be beliefs about how people should live their lives to be happy, or how you want to live your life to be happy, and what's best for you, and what makes you feel safe and comfortable, and what helps you feel challenged and excited. So yeah, you can put a lot of stuff in that bag, even though, because thoughts aren't real big sometimes. They don't take up a lot of space. So I want you to think about that, because today we're talking about hope and inspiration. Inspiration is when we feel excited about something that we hear, and it taps into that part of ourselves that says, "Woo, I want to get excited, and I want to do this, and I want to feel hopeful." And inspiration comes from so many different places. It comes from people that we know, or things we might see on television, or things we might read. So if our mind is open, who knows the wonders we might find out and the things we might be able to put in our bag. So you can think about that while you go back and have a good day in your class. Thank you for coming to see us.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of all surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
I love the harmony.
Let's find a comfortable place for our bodies and minds and spirits in our chairs for a bit. We're going to spend some time in quiet and contemplation, reflection, meditation, whichever word makes you feel comfortable. These words are from an author named Christian Larson, and it's called Promise Yourself. And I like to think of it as aspirational things to promise yourself. So if you'd like, close your eyes, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders. Let the Jays go back to their dugout. Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. To talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. To make all your friends feel that there is something special in them. Promise yourself to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true. Aspire to think only the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best. However you define best. Promise yourself to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own. Promise yourself to resolve and then forget the mistakes of the past, learn from them, and then press on to the greater achievements of the future. Promise yourself to wear a cheerful countenance and give every living creature a smile. Promise to give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize or attempt to improve others. To be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. Promise yourself to think well of yourself and to proclaim this fact to the world, not in loud words, but in great deeds. Promise yourself to live in faith that the whole world is on your side, so long as you are true to the best that is in you. Take another deep breath, and when you're ready, open your eyes. Our life together in congregation and in community is enhanced by knowing each other, not just on the surface, but deeply. And a part of that is sharing our joys and challenges with one another. It's 123, Spirit of Life.
Do you want me to play? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Shanice, for taking the lead. 123. Well, today's sermon comes with a handout. Oh, yes, all right, I can do that. Let's remember our commitment to generosity in the world and that this congregation is self-supporting, so we can pass around our offering dish, and it will be on the table here by Brad when it goes around. This will give us handouts and a bowl to pass, so that's good. And for those of you who are online, we're going to talk, what I'm sharing on these 2 pages are a number of quotes from famous people, mostly Canadians, who are talking about ways and strategies that they have for being inspired. So if you have a quote that you like, please hold on to it, and when we're talking about that in a little bit, we'll ask you can raise your hand and come on and tell us the quote that you like. So hold on. I know that as we walk through life, we often really hope that we will only have to walk on well-maintained and easily traversed trails that are clearly marked, enhanced with features that ensure our safety and security, and have plenty of great places where we can stop and rest. And unfortunately, I know that what we find when we're actually on that path is that there are inevitably periods of being really frustrated when we find what might euphemistically be called muddy spots, steep inclines that have drop-off edges, places where the trail separates and we're standing there and there's no signage, so we don't know what leads where, but we have to make a choice about the best way to go, sometimes not with a lot of information. And when we run into those parts of the trail, it's often easy to get despairing or to feel disheartened. We kind of can lose our momentum a little bit. Perhaps we just kind of shift ourselves into idle or park, and then we are neutral, and we sort of sit there. We maybe wait for motivation to sort of come from out of the clouds and hit us like a bolt of lightning or something. We need some encouragement to get up and walk that path again, and to re-engage and engage with our hopes and our dreams, and look for ways to start pursuing them again, or even start thinking about them again. And so in those moments, our minds turn to, how are we going to be motivated? How are we going to be inspired? Where are we going to find encouragement? Who is going to help? And how can we get our hope back? I know that those are very valuable tools for us to take along with us on our journey. Sometimes those things come from the most interesting places. It could be a friend who just says the right thing at the right time. It could be a message that you get from a friend or a loved one. Somebody calls on a day when it's not their usual day to call, but today they call and they say, I really love you, and I just wanted you to know that today. And it's like, oh, thank you. I needed that because it's not going so well. And it can be sometimes it's a loving, sort of gentle push, that kind of, time to go back to work. And sometimes maybe it's really a kick in the butt that we need, because we've allowed ourselves to sort of rust in place and we need somebody to kind of move us along. Either way, when we get those little messages or we get those little pushes, it helps us reconnect with our inner strength and prepare to move forward with our lives. And I have found in my life that sometimes I find motivation and inspiration from other people's stories. I either hear them or I see them in blogs or on websites, or they're in the news, or they're on Facebook or whatever social media you're on. When we read or we hear their words and we learn about how they may have faced the adversity that came into their lives, and then sometimes quickly and sometimes it takes a while, they bounce back and they start doing the hard work to reassert their control over their destiny and their choices and their fate, and they find some success, or they move in the right direction, or they find out, well, that wasn't the path, and they try it again. those help me sometimes because I can see myself in other people's stories and go, oh, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who's going through this. Because when we get in that kind of despairing place, it can feel pretty lonely. So we might find those kinds of stories in the lives of our friends or our neighbors, our family, companions we have in life. What we've seen them accomplish and what we learn about how they keep their dreams alive in the face of the challenges that they face. There is no life that is free of challenges. I wish there were. I would like to have one, perhaps. I think that. And then I realized, I've really learned a lot more from the times I've messed up than the times I've gotten it right on the first try. So who knows? Regardless of our circumstances, there's always something we can create and do that will help us take the next step. It can be a small step, but it allows us to keep going and remain motivated. So I've passed out a page that has, as you will see, front and back, quotes from various people, and I'm going to encourage you to look through that and see if any one of those speaks to you. Or maybe you have something sort of memorized as a bit of a credo that you carry around in your head. Something you heard once or something somebody told you once, that when you need a touchstone, you go back and, like those stones in the bowl, you go back and you pull that stone out and you go, okay, this will help. This helps. I know this helps if I hold on to this. I don't know who said this, but I will tell you one of the quotes that I love is, and I'm part of this crowd, people need loving the most when they deserve it the least. That's, sometimes we see that in children, when they act out and we go, oh, I'd just like to put you in a room. But what we know they really need is a hug and to be held close and told, you're great, we love you. The behavior, but you, fundamentally, great kid. Sorry you're having a tough day. And despite the fact that our bodies grow and social boundaries change, sometimes that's really what we need when we're an adult too. When I have had a hard day and I'm tired and my husband asks what I refer to in those moments as stupid questions. They're not stupid, they're just questions, but in that moment, what I really need is a hug. Not for him to go, wow, you know how it can happen. So have a look at those and tell me if there's any there that really speak to you and why it is that it speaks to you. Just briefly tell us, because it doesn't have to be your entire life story, but just tell us a little bit about why that quote speaks to you. Pass this around. There you go.
Yeah, so I was reading the Margaret Atwood quote. If I waited for perfection, I would never write a word. I love Margaret Atwood. And she's such a prolific writer. And that voice, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It stops me from starting so that it can become better. So yeah, it speaks to me. Thanks.
So you can carry Margaret around with you a little bit and help you with over the bumps of that.
Well, maybe some works by Margaret, not her.
Okay.
Not herself.
You can hand it to me.
Okay.
I guess my hand went up too fast. I've always loved a quote from Socrates: "The unexamined life is not worth living." And the reason for that is, I think life is easier when you don't examine yourself. But I also feel like if you don't, you kind of are going around like an automaton. So you say, oh, I've always done it this way, I'm gonna keep doing it this way, whatever. So this has always spoken to me. I think not always in a good way. There are times when you just are like, I don't want to examine what's happening, and you want to look away, and you're so stressed by the answers you might get that you're just like, ugh. But on the whole, I would say I'd rather this. I know it still only grows with grit, right? And that's the way I think life is. You can go without any grit, nothing. And I'm not actually there are people that live like that, and it's not a diss on them, because sometimes I think they're very, very happy. But I feel this speaks to me and my life and how I prefer to live life. And it's kind of, it's brought me to where I am today. I'm in Canada, I'm in this congregation, right? I walk through the door going, I don't know what's gonna happen, but let's see. So that kind of thing. So yeah, that one did speak to me.
Anybody else?
Yeah, these are very evocative of, you can almost pick any of them, but and some of them are very almost contradictory too. So I'm drawn to the John Wilson Saul one and the Margaret Atwood one. The Margaret Atwood one reminds me of that, don't let perfect get in the way of good, sometimes attributed to Obama, but and I have one of my own. I just opened it. Along the same lines, so for every complex problem, there is an answer that is clear, simple, and wrong.
I like that one.
I'll choose the Louise Penny quote because my sabbatical I spent writing a murder mystery novel, set on a university campus. It's all pulled from storylines in my life on a university campus. So she's one of my favorite mystery writers. And she says, it's difficult to learn from success. I've learned more from my mistakes. And I just said that to my daughter yesterday, and it's such a good way to try to battle perfectionism. Everybody makes mistakes, and as I was writing, as you're trying to improve your writing, you feel that acutely, like where you write badly, you can learn how to write better from that, not from the best writers in the world, but your own bad writing is a way to kind of get better. And I was just trying to say that to her too. She got like 2 things wrong on her test. And I was like, well, that's how you're gonna learn to get better. That's how you'll learn those things. So it's a good reminder.
There was a time when I was training to become a teacher, and my big personal philosophy was that they don't use the word wrong or mistake, that it is just, oh, this is what you didn't learn before, it's what you can learn now.
So mine isn't on the page, and I tried to find who said it, but I wasn't successful. But I had to adopt it when I was teaching grade 1. And parents would come in, and they would be upset that I didn't seem to be giving their child time in class. And somehow they seemed to have a sense that, I was spending more time with other kids. And so I don't know if it was a consultant or my principal or what, but it was the concept. It had to do with fairness doesn't mean that everybody gets the same. Fairness means that everybody gets what they need. And when you're teaching young children, I had kids in grade 1 who could read all the words in Time magazine, and kids who didn't know the letters of their name yet. And so some kids needed more of my time. And that concept seemed to resonate with a lot of parents. Fairness, equality isn't we all get equal things. It's that we get what we need.
Yes, I like that. I need lots. I like this quote. I have it up on my mirror in the bathroom. It's by Alexandra, and I can never pronounce her name correctly. Ocasio Cortez. Thank you. I knew somebody would be able to do it. So she says, and I try and, remember this. Hope is not something you have, it is something you create with your actions. And lots of times, something seems hopeless to me, and, there's a little point in my doing anything because it really is hopeless. And I try and read this and go, no, you can maybe move it, an 1/18 of an inch. You're not gonna move it a mile, but, you might be able to do something. So I really like that. Hope is not something you have, it is something you create with your actions.
Anybody online have one? I see Maureen and Marguerite and Michael. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
First, I really related to what you were saying it was the same when I was raising my children. Because they'd see one being able to do something and, you let so-and-so, why don't you let me? But what came to mind, I grew up with my great-grandmother, my grandmother, and my mother saying everything happens for the best and make the best of everything.
Thanks. So I'll share one that always resonates for me from Nelson Mandela, which is, I never lose, I only win or learn. It's along the same theme of, we're imperfect and, life's a journey of learning. But if I could be a little bit greedy and say, I have not heard this quote before from Nellie McClung, and I'm going to take it and run with it. So context, I would say, growing up as a woman in this culture, for many of us, we're trying to fit into smaller boxes than what we're actually built for. And so I love this plucky quote about never retract, never explain, never apologize, get the thing done and let them howl. Little personal challenge.
Makes you want to meet her, doesn't it? It does me.
Sorry, I just remembered one other that I actually wrote and had on my fridge for a long time. And that was that expectations are premeditated resentments.
Whoa, that's good.
Okay, I have one from Gandhi, and then Maureen. I think like Margaret Atwood, you can kind of separate the person from the quote and just appreciate the wisdom in it. So there are 2 days in the year that we cannot do anything, yesterday and tomorrow. Yeah, go ahead, Maureen.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't unmute before. I was trying. I was having trouble. So, there's so many quotes that mean something to me, but this is a simple one that's been really helpful in this journey. Keep your face always towards the sunshine, and shadows will fall behind you. That was by Helen Keller.
Thank you, Maureen.
Okay, hello. The first one says that sometimes it's the journey that teaches you a lot about your destination. That's by Drake, but I like to think of the journey as the destination.
Thank you. I'll share one more with you that I learned a number of years ago. I did a project. In the States, they have local agricultural support societies. And I worked as a volunteer at our local agricultural society. And there was a guy there that had been there many years. And I was trying to learn about doing consulting and helping groups of people and doing those kind of things. And I had some successes. I learned a few things, and then I screwed up a few times. And one day I had been particularly frustrated by dealing with a particular individual. And he turned to me and he said, he'd been around for a long time, and he turned to me and says, you should never try to teach a pig to sing. It'll only frustrate you and annoy the pig. It's a great piece of wisdom. So. Any other comments or any other pieces of wisdom? I want to share these words before we extinguish our chalice. These are from Haruki Murakami. He's a writer and author and a great thinker in some ways. And he said, and once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain, when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. That's what the storm is all about. And our time together is finished, but you've got some words of wisdom and some ideas and some sharing and community that we've had together this morning. So I hope that our spirits are renewed and we are strengthened in our resolve to continue to find ways to meet the challenges in front of us and live our lives with as much joy as we can find. So if you'll put up the slide, Liam, we'll say the words together. Thanks, Shanna, for extinguishing our chalice. We gather to light this chalice. We part the flame lit within us, an inspired community.